Hello, class 12th. Here we are going to continue chapter 4, The Enemy, from your Vistas book. Let's see what Dr. Sadao would do with the prisoner of war in his house. Thus agreed, together they lifted the man. He was very light, like a fowl that had been half starved for a long time until it is only feathers and skeleton. So his arms hanging, they carried him up the steps and into the side door of the house. Fowl means bird like cock and hen. So here it is described when Hannah and Sadao finally decided to provide the urgent medical attention to this enemy, they lifted the injured man into their house. They felt he turned to be very light-weighted. The writer compares the weight of this injured man to that of a hen that has not been fed for a long time, and its body had also lost flesh and reduced into mere feathers and skeleton. So they felt his arms were hanging, but both carried this man into the side door of their house. This door opened into a passage, and down the passage they carried the man towards an empty bedroom. It had been the bedroom of Sadao's father, and since his death it had not been used. They laid the man on the deeply matted floor. Then, through the side door of their house, they took this man into a passage which directly went down towards an empty bedroom. This bedroom, in fact, belonged to Sadao's father and had not been used after his death. They kept the man on the thick mat on the floor over there. Everything here had been Japanese to please the man, who would never in his own home sit on a chair or sleep in a foreign bed. So here the writer describes that everything in the home of Dr. Sadao, it was pure Japanese, as his father disliked the things made of the other countries. So that's why all the chairs, all the furniture, that was the pure Japanese made. This shows us the true patriotic feelings of this family towards their nation. Hannah went to the wall, cupboards, and slid back a door and took out a soft quilt. She hesitated. The quilt was covered with flowered silk and the linen was pure white silk. Hence, after lying the man on deep matted floor, Hannah went towards the cupboard and took out a soft quilt from the sliding door. At first, Hannah resisted to use her flowery printed silken quilt over this dirty injured man because the quilt was quite costly and made of pure white silk. "He is so dirty," she murmured in distress. "Yes, he had better be washed," Sadao agreed. "If you will fetch hot water, I will wash him." Distress means the feeling of unhappiness or sadness. Hence, Hannah showed her unhappiness to give a beautiful quilt to this man. She said slowly to the husband that the man was very dirty. To this, Sadao said yes, he was really dirty. He asked Hannah if she could bring the hot water so that he could wash this man. "I cannot bear for you to touch him," she said. "We shall have to tell the servants he is here. I will tell Yumi. Now she can leave the children for a few minutes and she can wash him." However, Hannah did not like that her husband should touch this enemy. She said they had to inform their servants as they were there, and she would even call Yumi, their maid servant, to do this work. So she would leave attending the children for few minutes and wash this man. Sadao considered a moment. "Let it be so," He agreed. You tell Yumi, and I will tell the others. But the utter pallor of the man's unconscious face moved him first to stoop and feel his pulse. It was faint, but it was there. He put his hand against the man's cold breast. The heart, too, was yet alive. Pallor means unhealthy, pale appearance. Stoop means bend forward. Pulse, that means heartbeat here. However, Sadao thought for a while and then he agreed with Hannah. He asked her to call Yumi, the maid servant, while he would call the other servants of the house. The moment Sadao was moving outside to call the servants, he was shocked to see the complete face expression of the fainted man. So he stopped and bent forward to check the pulse of this injured man. His heartbeat was faint, but it was working. Then Sadao placed his hand on the man's heart to feel the heartbeat. So still it was working. Sadao then concluded the man was still alive. He will die unless he is operated on, Sadao said, considering this question is whether he will not die anyway. Here Sadao commented that if he won't operate the man, he would surely die. He also said that if he was operated upon and was saved, then again he was going to die at the hands of their own country army. In all conditions, he was definitely going to die. Hannah cried out in fear, "Don't try to save him. What if he should live?" Hannah got scared and shouted at the husband not to save this man. She feared that if he would live, then really the life of their own family was at stake. So he was going to put their life in danger. What if he should die? Sadao replied. He stood gazing down on the motionless man. To this, Sadao asked the wife that what would be the implication if the man would die. Then he started gazing down. This man must have extraordinary vitality, or he would have been dead by now. But then he was very young, perhaps not yet 25. Vitality, that means vigor or energy. Sadao was wondering how this man was still surviving even after getting much torture. He might be having the extraordinary strength and energy. Then he countered his thought with the fact that he was still young and just 25. That might be the reason that he was able to now bear up all these tortures. You mean die from the operation? Hannah asked. Yes, Sadao said. Hannah considered this doubtfully, and when she did not answer, Sadao turned away. At any rate, something must be done with him, he said. At first, he must be washed. He went quickly out of the room, and Hannah came behind him. Now, Hannah wanted to clarify from the husband what did he mean to say. Did he want to kill the man during the operation? Sadao agreed. He said he wanted to do the same. But Hannah was doubtful over this possibility, so she took time to reply. Then Sadao said that at any rate something should be done of this man, and before doing anything he had to wash the man. After saying this, he left quickly the room, and then Hannah followed the husband. She did not wish to be left alone with a white man. He was the first she had seen since she left America, and now he seemed to have nothing to do with those whom she had known there. Here he was an enemy, a menace, living or dead. Menace means danger or threat. As Hannah didn't want to stay alone with this white skinned man in that room, So she left the room very fast since they had left America. He was the first white man she had now seen. She had no contact with the Americans as the Americans were the country's enemies, and this injured man was also the enemy, and he was real threat to them. Whether he was living or dead, he was real threat to them and also to their country. She turned to the nursery and called Yumi, but the children heard her voice and she had to go in for a moment and smile at them and play with the baby boy, now nearly 3 months old. Over the baby's soft black hair, she motioned with her mouth, Yumi, come with me. I will put the baby to bed. Yumi replied, he is ready. Nursery here means a room where the baby sleeps. Motion, that means a moment to show what you want to be done. Here, Hannah turned to the children's room and called out Yumi, their maid servant. As the children heard her voice, she also went inside and smiled at them and played with her 3-month-old son. As she held the baby who had soft black hair, she motioned with her mouth to Yumi, asking her to come with her. She replied that the baby was ready for sleep and that she must put it to sleep before joining her. She went with Yumi into the bedroom next to the nursery and stood with the boy in her arms while Yumi spread the sleeping quilts on the floor and laid the baby between them. Hannah held the baby by herself and went to the bedroom next to the nursery with Yumi. Yumi then spread the sleeping quilts on the floor and laid the baby between them. Then Hannah led the way quickly and softly to the kitchen. The two servants were frightened at what their master had just told them. The old gardener, who was also a house servant, pulled a few hairs on his upper lip. Now Hannah led the way, and both of them they walked softly and fast towards the kitchen. And there they found that the two servants they got scared after getting their master's word regarding the injured man who was the country's enemy. The old gardener who was working as a house servant, he got so much angry at the news that he pulled the hair from his upper lip in reaction. The master ought not to heal the wound of this white man, he said bluntly to Hannah. The white man ought to die. First he was shot, then the sea caught him and wounded him with the rocks. If the master heals what the gun did and what the sea did, they will take revenge on us. Bluntly, that means in a straightforward manner. The old gardener spoke bluntly to Hannah that Sadao must not treat the injured white man who was a country's enemy. He reasoned that this man was surely destined to die. Firstly, if he had been wounded by the gunshot, and secondly, if the rocks of the sea had wounded him, and if Sadao would try to heal the wounds given by the gun or by the sea, then the gun and the sea both were going to treat them as enemies and would surely seek revenge from the family. The gun represents here the Japanese army and the sea represents the country of Japan. If they treated and healed this enemy, so they were going to be surely punished by their own nation. I will tell him what you say, Hannah replied courteously, but she herself was also frightened, although she was not superstitious as the old man was. Could it ever be well to help an enemy? Courteously means politely. Superstitious, that means believing in superstitions or irrational beliefs. Hannah politely replied to the gardener that she would convey his message to Sadao. But inside she was frightened Though she was not superstitious like this old man, she thought that helping an enemy could never be good for them. Nevertheless, she told Yumi to fetch the hot water and bring it to the room where the white man was. However, Hannah was believing in the words of this old gardener, but still she asked Yumi to get hot water into the room where the injured man was kept. She went ahead and slid back the partitions so the was not yet there. Yumi, falling, put down her wooden bucket. Then she went over to the white man. When she saw him, her thick lips folded themselves into stubbornness. I have never washed a white man, she said. I will not wash so dirty a one now. Stubbornness, that means obstinacy or firm determination. Now Hannah went inside first and then moved the partition to one side. Sadao had still not come over there. Yumi followed Hannah and kept the wooden bucket on the floor. As she saw the white man, her thick lips folded, and the expression on the face of Yumi indicated her stubbornness, her determination not to serve any enemy. She said firmly that she had never washed an American man. So she refused by saying that she had never washed anyone who was as dirty as this injured man. So she refused. Hannah cried at her severely, "You will do what your master command you?" Severely means harshly. Hannah reacted very harshly. She shouted at Yumi by saying that she was supposed to follow her master's orders. And what was said to her? There was so fierce a look of resistance upon Yumi's round dull face that Hannah felt unreasonably afraid. After all, if the servants should report something that was not as it happened. Fierce means angry or aggressive. Resistance means opposition or the refusal to comply with something. This resistance and the dangerous look of protest over the face of Yumi, Hannah was frightened. She got worried if the servants would report something different from what had happened. They could surely land into the trouble. Very well, she said with dignity. You understand, we only want to bring him to his senses so that we can turn him over as a prisoner. Dignity, that means respect. Hannah changed her expressions with respect and said, Very well, Yumi. She explained to Yumi that they had only intention to bring this unconscious man into the senses and then they would hand him over as a prisoner to the Japanese army by themselves. I will have nothing to do with it, Yumi said. I'm a poor person. It is not my business. Then please, Hannah said gently, return to your own work. At this, Yumi replied that she had nothing to do with their plans. She also said she was very poor and it was none of her business or work to know anything about their plans and to do something for some enemy of their country. At this, Hannah said her very gently that she should better return to her work. At once, Yumi left the room, but this left Hannah with the white man alone. She might have been too afraid to stay had not her anger at Yumi's stubbornness now sustained her. Sustained here means continued or stayed. While Yumi had left the room, Hannah was again stayed now alone with the white man. She would have been otherwise afraid to remain alone there in the room, but her anger on Yumi's firm determination made her now stay alone in that room. Stupid Yumi, she muttered fiercely. Is this anything but a man and a wounded, helpless man? Fiercely, that means angrily or aggressively. Hannah said with anger that really Yumi was a really stupid one. She said that he was just an helpless, injured man. In the conviction of her own superiority, she bent impulsively and untied the knotted rugs that kept the white man covered. When she had this breast bare, she dipped the small clean towel that Yumi had brought into the steaming hot water and washed his face carefully. The man's skin, though rough with exposure, was of a fine texture and must have been very blond when he was a child. Conviction means strong belief. Impulsively means to do something suddenly without thinking. Rugs means blanket. Blonde, that means a person of fair complexion having light colored hair. So here it is explained Hannah was full of anger to get the refusal by her maid Yumi. So without thinking, she opened the blanket in which the man was wrapped. His chest was now open. It was bare. Hannah took a small clean towel and then dipped it into the steaming hot water and washed the face of the injured man. The man's skin was though rough due to being exposed to the sun, but it had a good texture and he must have been very fair as a child. While she was thinking these thoughts, though not really liking the man, better now that he was no longer a child, she kept on washing him until his upper body was quite clean, but she dared not turn him over. However, Hannah was lost all in these thoughts, but she kept on cleaning the man's upper body. Though she was not liking cleaning the man, as he was not a child anymore. Sadao, she called softly. He had been about to come in. When she called, his hand had been on the door, and now he opened it. She saw that he had brought his surgeon's emergency bag and that he wore his surgeon's coat. Now Hannah called her husband in a soft voice. He had been on the door when she was calling his name. He opened the door. Hannah saw that Sadao was carrying his surgeon's emergency bag and was wearing his surgeon's coat. He was prepared to operate upon the injured man. "You have decided to operate?" she cried. "Yes," he said shortly. He turned his back to her and unfolded a sterilized towel upon the floor of Tokonoma alcove and put his instruments out upon it. "Fetch towels," he said. Sterilized means disinfected. Tokonoma, so that is a corner or the part of the room where the things are displayed. In the Japanese homes, so this place is used for the flower arrangement. Alcove, so that is a vaulted break or recess in the wall of the room. So here it is said, when Hannah found the husband in the surgeon's dress, she inquired if he had decided to operate the man. To this he replied, yes. Then he turned his back to Hannah as he didn't want to have any objection about his decision of operating the man. Then he started his work. He opened the sterilized towel on the floor of the Tokonoma alcove and placed his surgical instruments over there. Then he asked Hannah to bring the towels. She went obediently, but how anxious now, to the linen shelves and took out the towels. There ought also to be old pieces of matting so that the blood would not ruin the fine floor covering. Hannah did very sincerely what Sadao told her. She became excited as Sadao had started operation upon the injured man. She thought that the blood from his wounds could stain the fine matting of a room. So she wanted to cover the floor of the room. That's why she went outside in the back veranda where their gardener used to keep the strips of matting to protect the delicate shrubs in the cold season. So she brought from there some armful of such rough mats with her to protect her delicate matting. But when she went back into the room, she saw this was useless. The blood had already soaked through the packing in the man's wound and had ruined the mat under him. By the time she returned back in the room, she found that the blood had already flowed through the bandage on the man's wound and had stained the mat beneath him. So her all efforts had gone waste. Oh, the mat! She cried. Yes, it's ruined, Sadao replied, as though he didn't care. Help me to turn him, he commanded. Her, she obeyed him without a word, and he began to wash the man's back carefully. On seeing the stained mat, Hannah shouted that her mat had been spoiled. Sadao also agreed, but he replied in such a manner which indicated that he was least bothered about this damage that showed his sincerity towards his work. Sadao then ordered Hannah that she should help him to turn the man over. She also obeyed, and then Sadao started washing the back of that enemy. Yumi would not wash him, she said. Did you wash him then? Sadao asked, not stopping for a moment his swift, concise movements. Yes, she said. Concise, that means short or brief. However, Hannah now informed Sadao that their maidservant Yumi had refused to wash the injured man. Sadao asked her if she had washed then. He did not stop cleaning while talking to the wife. Then he made for small movements of his hands as he had to clean him carefully. He did not seem to hear her, but she was used to his absorption when he was at work. However, Sadao did not seem to listen to the words of Hannah, as she also knew the habit of Sadao, how he got immersed in his work that he forgot about the surroundings. She wondered for a moment if it mattered to him what was the body upon which he worked so long, as it was for the work he did so excellently. Now Hannah started wondering that it never mattered to Sadao upon which body he was working so long, as he worked so excellently. So here also it was never bothering him that he was working and treating some enemy right now. You will have to give the anesthetic if he needs it, he said. I, she repeated blankly. But never have I. It's easy enough, he said impatiently. Anesthetic is a drug that induces insensitivity to the pain. Now Sadao told Hannah that she would have to inject the injured man with the drug that induces insensitivity to his pain. To this, Hannah replied that she had never done it earlier. Then Sadao said, in a haste, it is quite easy. He was taking out the packing now, and the blood began to flow more quickly. He peered into the wound with a bright surgeon's light fastened on his forehead. The bullet is still there, he said with cool interest. Peered means look closely. However, now Sadao started removing the packing from the wound, and the blood started flowing very fast. He looked at the wound with the help of the bright surgeon's light that was fixed on his forehead. He then claimed that the bullet was inside the man's body. Now I wonder how deep this rock wound is. If it is not too deep, it may be that I can get the bullet, but the bleeding is not superficial. He has lost much blood. Superficial, that means existing or occurring at or on the surface. Sadao, after diagnosing that the bullet was still inside the body, he said that the rock has deeply wounded the man. He said if the wound was not so deep, he could have easily taken the bullet out. But he also said the bleeding of this man, it was not from the surface of the skin. It means that the wound was so deep that man had the great loss of the blood. So his condition is really critical. At this moment, Hannah choked. He looked up and saw her face the color of the sulfur. Choked, that means to get suffocated or be breathless. Sulfur, that is the non-metallic element of pale yellow color. As Hannah had never seen excessive bleeding in her life, so she felt choked. And Sadao looked at her and also observed that her face had turned to be yellowish in color, just like the color of the sulfur. Don't faint, he said sharply. He did not put down his exploring instrument. If I stop now, the man will surely die. She clapped her hands to her mouth and leaped up and ran out of the room. Outside in the garden, he heard her retching, but he went on with his work. Leaped means jumped. Retching, that means vomiting. To see the changing color of Hannah's face, Sadao suggested her not to faint. As he could not stop his work, he continued inspecting the wound with his exploring instrument. Then he said if he would stop now, the injured man would surely die. Then Hannah had to put both her hands on her mouth, and then she hurriedly jumped up and ran outside the room. Then Sadao heard her vomiting in the garden, but he still continued with his work. It will be better for her to empty her stomach. He thought he had forgotten that, of course, she had never seen an operation, but her distress and his inability to go to her at once made him impatient and irritable with this man who lay like dead under his knife. Distress, that means severe pain. Impatient, that means not having patience. Irritable, that means easily get angry or irritated. Though Sadao felt that it would be better for Hannah to empty her stomach while vomiting, so she would feel quite easy and join him again. But he had forgotten the fact that it was for the first time Hannah would be seeing some operation. So he felt irritated and impatient that at this moment of stress he was not able to help his wife due to this man who lay under his knife. He was lying just like a dead man. This man, he thought, there is no reason under heaven why he should live. Unconsciously, this thought made him ruthless and he proceeded swiftly. In his dream, the man moaned, but Sadao paid no heed except to mutter at him. Ruthless, that means merciless or be cruel. Moan, that means to cry in pain in low voice. Paid no heed, that means paid no attention. At this situation, Sadao thought that there was no reason under the heaven that this man should live or he should save his life. Now, unconsciously, this thought made Sadao merciless with his hand, so he started working fast. With the fact, the injured man cried in pain as still he was unconscious. But Sadao kept on working without paying any attention to the pains and the cries of the injured man. Groan, he muttered, groan. If you like, I'm not doing this for my own pleasure. In fact, I don't know why I am doing it. Here, Sadao addressed to this senseless man and said if he wanted to cry, he should, but he was not doing this for his own happiness or for his own satisfaction, and even he himself didn't know why he was saving his life. The door opened and there was Hannah again. Where is anesthetic? She asked in a clear voice. Sadao motioned with his chin. It is as well that you came back, he said. This fellow is beginning to stir. She had the bottle and some cotton in her hand. But how shall I do it? She asked. Simply saturate the cotton and hold it near his nostrils. Sadao replied without delaying. For one moment, the intricate detail of his work. When he breathes badly, move it away a little. Beginning to stir, that means to come back into senses or to gain consciousness. Saturate, that means soak or to get wet. Intricate, that means complexed. When Hannah entered into the room this time, she inquired from the husband about the anesthetic that she had to give to the injured man. Her voice was clear that showed that she was stable. Husband said that it was good that she had come back as the man had started making movement and coming back into the senses. So it was important that she should support him that moment. Then Hannah was holding the bottle and some cotton in her hands. She asked Sadao what she was supposed to do. Sadao replied that she had to put some anesthetic on the cotton and to take the cotton near the man's nostril. While talking to the wife, that moment Sadao was busy with some delicate part of the enemy's body. He added that she should not remove the cotton till the man started breathing heavily. So in this way, he said that she had to give anesthetic to that patient.